Hi, y'all. I'm Miss Jess, and I'm the resident scientist here at Wonder Junction. This week, we are going to explore the wonders of God, and we're going to do that with a tool called science. So hop on board and let's head to Wonder Junction. Okay, the first wonder that we are going to talk about is the wonder of Jesus' birth. And we have a written account of that in the Bible. While we can't experience Jesus' birth firsthand, we can read about it. But there are other wonders that God created that we can experience here on earth today. And those are natural wonders. We don't have a lot of when those natural wonders were born or started other than the creation story. But there is one natural wonder that we have a written account of its birth. And today we're going to talk about that. Let me read to you something that someone wrote way back in 1943. That's 81 years ago. Here's his written account. I left my wife to set fire to a pile of branches when I noticed a crack which was situated on one of the knolls on my farm had opened up. And I saw that it was a kind of fissure, and the depth was only about half a meter. I set about to ignite the branches again when I felt a thunder. The trees trembled, and I turned to speak to Paula. And it was then I saw how in the hole the ground swelled and raised itself 2 or 2.5 meters high. And a kind of smoke or fine dust, gray like ashes, began to rise up in a portion of the crack that I hadn't previously seen. Immediately, more smoke began to rise with a hiss and a whistle. It was loud and continuous, and there was the smell of sulfur. This written account was taken around 4 p.m. on February the 20th, 1943, by a man named Dionisio Pulido. Now, after you hear that written account of a natural wonder starting from nothing, what do you think that natural wonder might be? Teachers, pause the video for a second and see if they can figure it out. Well, what do you think? Did anybody say a volcano? Because if you did, you were right. What do you think about that? I'm standing in my yard, burning some branches, and all of a sudden there are earthquakes and there's a hissing sound and the ground raises up in front of me and there's gray dust coming out of the ground and it smells like rotten eggs. That's what sulfur smells like. Can you imagine how scary that would be? I would be scared. Would you be scared? So what's so special about this account? It is the only account that we have on record of the birth of a volcano. Would it be pretty cool if we got to experience one of God's wonders being created right in front of us? Yes. Cool. Maybe, and scary. Well, we have 5 facts about this volcano that Mr. Pulido was talking about back in 1943, because this volcano still exists here on Earth today. Count them with me. Are you ready? 1. Say 1. This volcano's name was Perry Cooten. The reason it was named Perry Cooten is because that was the name of a village close by. That village soon got covered in ash, dust, rocks, and finally lava. And that village doesn't exist in the same place as it did then. There was another village near as well, and it doesn't exist either. Okay, fact number 2. Say 2. There were 2 weeks worth of earthquakes leading up to this volcano starting. Isn't that terrifying? 2 weeks of the earth shaking in the whole region? That would be super terrifying. Are you ready? Say 3. 3. The third fact is that this volcano occurred in a little place across central Mexico where there are over 1,400 volcanoes still today. So it's a very active place that this is occurring. Ready? Fact number 4. Say 4. This volcano erupted for a total of 9 years. Can you imagine how terrifying that is? So towns have been covered, people have been killed, houses have been flattened by the lava of this volcano, and it keeps erupting for 9 years. And when it finishes erupting, it's a total of 1,391 feet tall. Remember, this was someone's backyard. It was flat. It was in a hole, actually, when it started pushing upward and making a volcano. And now it's 5 football fields tall. That's insane. All right, are you ready for fact number 5? Say 5 with me. Perry-Kooten is a kind of volcano called a cinder cone volcano. And here in the pictures, you can kind of see the life cycle of a cinder cone volcano. Does anybody know what the difference is between magma and lava? Teachers, will you pause the video and see if anybody knows? So magma and lava are kind of the same things, just in different locations. They are hot rock that has been melted until it is liquid under the Earth's surface. You can see here in the bottom right picture all of the orange under the Earth's surface. Then, when there are vents that open up to the surface of the Earth, that hot magma flows up and out of those vents. And then we call it lava. But that's actually not exactly the first thing that happens when a cinder cone volcano is formed. First, there's ash and dust and a smell like rotten eggs, which is sulfur that comes up and out of the volcano, or out of the flat ground rather. Then rocks get shot up into the air, and as they fall hot and on fire, they're called cinders. When they fall to the earth, slowly over time, they form a cone. So that's where we get the idea of a cinder cone volcano. All right, do you want to try it yourself? Let's see what happens when we try to form a cone. Have fun, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Where? At Wonder Junction.